If you are suffering from heartburn or reflux or GERD, all of which are the same thing, you clicked on the right video. I'm going to explain to you how this happens and what you can do about it naturally. So I'm doing a video on this topic simply because I have had a record number of new patients in the past few weeks come in with this complaint. And I always have people coming in with this complaint. This has been going on for years, but it's getting more and more prevalent. And so it's time for us to address it and help you do something about it. So let's first discuss what is heartburn, reflux, GERD, which stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease. What causes it? And then stay tuned till the end where I will give you my top tips for helping it naturally. So here's how it works. When you eat, your stomach has cells in it which produce enzymes and hydrochloric acid. And that begins the process of digestion. It doesn't actually begin, process of digestion begins when you smell food, but then it, you know, in your mouth, it mixes with saliva, but once it hits your stomach, the big procedure of breaking down your food begins. So hydrochloric acid serves two purposes. One, it helps to break down the food enough so that when it goes to the next phase, which it leaves your stomach and goes into your small intestine, and that's where it begins to be absorbed as nutrients by the intestinal cells. The hydrochloric acid breaks down the nutrients enough so that your small intestine and then other parts of your intestine can start absorbing the nutrients. This is especially true for protein. Okay, so hydrochloric acid helps to break down protein. Hydrochloric acid also helps to kill pathogens that may be present in the food, like bacteria or parasites. So there are some things that can go wrong with this process, and that's what can cause you to have symptoms of what you might call heartburn, where you have pain in your chest or acid or burning, or literally feeling stuff coming back up. So what are the various causes? And there are quite a few, so just stick with me here. So when you're having the reflux, it's literally the food and the acid are moving backwards from your stomach up into your esophagus, which is the tube that connects your throat to your stomach. And it can go all the way back into your mouth, which I call throwing up in your mouth. And this can not only cause indigestion symptoms, but it can also cause irritation to your throat, to your larynx, which would cause you to have hoarseness in your voice. It can actually cause damage over time if it happens a lot, because acid is erosive. So why does this happen? There are quite a number of things that can cause it. And first, we're going to talk about the mechanical causes of it. So number one, being overweight, especially if you have extra fat around your middle, causes pressure on your stomach, and it literally pushes or squeezes the food back up in the wrong direction. Number two, a weakened sphincter at the end of your esophagus. So your esophagus has a little trap door on it that should stay shut once the food gets into the stomach. But the sphincter, or the little door, could be weak, and then it stays open. And what can cause it to be weak? Well, the one thing that we already mentioned, being overweight, just puts mechanical pressure on it, so that can weaken it. Overfilling your stomach on a frequent basis, so in other words, eating too much. Smoking damages the tissue, Alcohol relaxes the sphincter, so it just stays open. And then there's a lot of medications that actually damage the sphincter. So some blood pressure medications, sleeping medications, antidepressants, sedatives, antibiotics, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs such as ibuprofen, which brand name is Motrin, or Aleve, which is naproxen, and opioids like codeine and things like that will all damage the sphincter. Next, the next possible mechanical cause is a hiatal hernia. So a hiatal hernia is when the hole in your diaphragm, so the diaphragm is a muscle that the esophagus has to pass through to attach to the stomach. There you have a thin muscle in this region here, over here. There's a hole in it so that the esophagus can pass through, and sometimes the hole it's too big. It's larger than it should be, and it's actually very common. You can be born with this, but having a weak diaphragmatic muscles can increase your risk of it. And so if you're not breathing properly, because your diaphragm helps to expand your lungs, if you have asthma or COPD, emphysema, anything like that, your diaphragm might be weak. You can actually strengthen your diaphragm. It's not that difficult. You can lay down put a heavy book on your upper abdomen and breathe deeply and make the book move, and that helps to exercise it, and will also help to improve your breathing. So if you have a mild to moderate hiatal hernia, if it's not like so bad that it requires surgery, and most of the time it's mild or moderate, you've been walking around with it for years, you can find a local chiropractor that can adjust it. I do adjustments of hiatal hernias all the time. Not that difficult. You can also do some home exercises to adjust it yourself. You can look it up in your browser, exercises to help with hiatal hernias. And they're really very simple things to do and try to see if it helps. The next mechanical cause of reflux is pregnancy, which obviously, pregnancy is notorious for causing heartburn or reflux. It's just mechanical pressure on the stomach. So helpful hints for any of these mechanical issues would be to not lie down with food in your stomach. Wait a while after you eat, and don't do anything strenuous with a full stomach. Don't try not to bend over. Don't try doing, yoga or even exercising like running or swimming with food in your stomach. Give yourself some time to digest. But of course, things like losing weight and getting off medications will help. And that's really, what this whole channel is about, is helping you to eat better and not need medications. So now let's discuss some of the non-mechanical issues. So one, damage to the lining of your stomach. And what can cause this? So one of the things that we're seeing emerge in present time is glyphosate, which is the chemical, the weed killer found in Roundup. And it is very present in foods. So definitely, if you're eating any foods that are genetically modified, there is glyphosate present in them. It does, get into other foods, even organic foods, but you are certainly better off avoiding genetically modified foods and not using Roundup yourself, because even using it on your lawn as a weed killer, you get exposure to it and it can damage the lining of your stomach. It kills the good bacteria in your gut, which damages your ability to digest food properly and leads to all other kinds of problems. Antibiotics do this as well. They kill the good bacteria in your gut. And then gluten from commercial wheat also damages, it disrupts the lining of the gut and interferes with digestion. So I do have a whole video on bread and how gluten can cause harm. And gluten is not actually the bad guy. Gluten has a very bad reputation, but it's not the gluten. It's the gluten that's in the commercial wheat that's grown here in the United States. In other countries, it's different. So if you're not in the US, you probably can still eat wheat as long as you don't have celiac. Commercial oils, especially seed oils, are very inflammatory to your gut. So canola oil, soybean oil, and any commercial oil, they are made with extremely inflammatory ingredients, right? So you need to watch my cooking oil video and make sure you're not taking in bad quality oils. And disrupted stomach flora also opens the door to other pathogens overgrowing. So things like H. pylori. H. pylori is a bacteria that's known to cause symptoms like reflux and GERD and stomach pain and even ulcers, and other undesirable pathogens can overgrow, like yeast and fungus and parasites, when you have disrupted gut flora. The next cause of reflux that's not mechanical is stress. So when you're under a lot of stress, you have what's called a sympathetic nervous system response, also known as a fight or flight response. And when this happens, your digestion actually shuts down. It becomes suppressed because digestion is not a essential activity of the body when you're in a fight or flight response. Your body thinks that you're in danger, that you need protection from literally from death, and it will shut down digestive function. So when that happens, you actually start underproducing your hydrochloric acid in your stomach. Okay, so believe it or not, low stomach acid is a huge problem, especially in chronically stressed people, which causes reflux. And how does that happen? What I didn't mention about the esophageal sphincter earlier is that it is stimulated to close by hydrochloric acid. So if you're underproducing hydrochloric acid, the sphincter will stay open. And the worst part about this is that most of the time, if you go to the medical doctor and you complain about reflux or heartburn and get diagnosed with GERD, the first thing they're going to do is put you on a medication that further reduces your stomach acid. You know, this is a huge problem because it'll actually ultimately make your symptoms worse. And also, you need the stomach acid in order to digest your nutrients. If you don't digest your nutrients for a long period of time, you will develop other diseases because you need the nutrients to survive and thrive. A long-term use of these drugs that inhibit the production of stomach acid are associated with dementia because your brain is not getting the nutrients it needs, among other body parts. So now when a perfect storm occurs when you're chronically stressed and you're coping with the stress by drinking alcohol and eating crappy food that's inflammatory, foods that are filled with sugar and inflammatory oils and GMOs, and maybe you're taking, you know, drugs like sedatives or sleeping pills or antidepressants to help you with the stress, and then you're actually causing your gut to not work, and then you're going to have these symptoms, and it's going to make your stress worse. So the better thing to do is to learn how to manage your stress in a way that doesn't harm you. And listen, I am an expert at this for a variety of reasons. One is because I have had a chronically stressful life for as long as I can remember. And so I've had to learn how to manage it on my own without making myself sick, but also because I do it professionally, I help people manage their stress to improve their health. So if you do need help with that, I'm here. I also have a video about stress on this channel, which I'll put a link to in the description of the video. So what shouldn't you do? Number one, don't take antacids. Don't take Tums and Rolaids and Mylanta, because first of all, they're filled with aluminum, which is a neurotoxin. So you're just poisoning yourself, and you're neutralizing your stomach acid, which in the long run is not going to solve the problem. It's just temporary relief. And don't take proton pump inhibitors such as Nexium and Prilosec and Dexilant. They literally stop your stomach glands from producing acid. This is not a good idea. It's actually a really bad idea, especially if your symptoms are being caused by low stomach acid. So I also want to mention here that symptoms of reflux can also be caused by your gallbladder not working properly. So your gallbladder secretes bile, and the acid that you feel could be stomach acid, or it could be bile backing up also. So if it's your gallbladder, these medications for acid will not help you at all. Okay? And they're just going to make things worse. So if you're suspecting gallbladder, if you have, let's say pain on the right side over here, this is where your gallbladder is, or pain in your right shoulder blade, if you feel worse when you eat fat, if you have other symptoms, and gallbladder can cause such weird symptoms, even the skin peeling on the bottom of your feet, nightmares, any of that, then you would need to explore gallbladder support. If you're not sure, I can do a virtual consult for you and help you try to figure it out. So before I tell you my top tips and what you can do naturally, I just want to put in a quick word for my partner in truth, HATS, Hardcore Awakened Truth Seekers, which is a movement that was inspired into creation amidst hyper-political division in the last few years, in an attempt to get away from polarization and bring people together across the political spectrum to the truth and a sense of community that allows us to move forward. This movement is making real strides in achieving this vision. They have an awesome Telegram channel with so many followers, and there's great videos and articles posted multiple times a day on many different topics, including health topics. And they have a wonderful website where they're selling products to support their organization. I just got my new hoodie that I'm wearing right now, my HATS hoodie. And they come in all kinds of beautiful colors, and they have other items too, like my wonderful mug here. And if you put in the discount code Cori Stern, all caps, CORISTERN, you will get a surprise discount. So I will put links to their Telegram channel and their website on the description of this video. Please check them out and give them some support. So here are my top tips for overcoming heartburn, reflux, GERD naturally. Number one, of course, this is obvious, but if you are overweight, losing some weight and taking some pressure off of your middle area will be very helpful. Eating better will also, help to reduce your need for drugs. So if you are overweight and eating badly, just improving the quality of your food and losing a few pounds will greatly improve your health. Number two, something I already said, but needs to get said many times, please, you need to learn how to manage stress that doesn't involve harming yourself. Self-care should not involve self-harm. And reach out to me if you need help with that. There are so many different methods for helping you with stress. And next, my favorite supplement. So my number one favorite supplement, and these are all from my favorite supplement company, Standard Process and MediHerb. This one is called Gastrex. No, it's hard to see, Gastrex. And Gastrex is a combination of okra and Spanish moss, and there's some glandulars in it that help to heal the lining of the stomach and to improve digestion. This is not a vegetarian product. Now with Gastrex, I have found to be a miracle product for many people. I myself take it. I actually carry it around with me. I have a history of GERD. I have a history of reflux. I grew up on bad food and antibiotics. So it's been a journey to handle my digestion, and I'm mostly asymptomatic thanks to my friend Gastrex. And next is Enzicor. Enzicor is a combination of digestive enzymes along with kale and beet powder and L-glutamine. So all of those things help to heal the gut and improve digestion. So I use that also. Next is Zypan, and Zypan is, if you have low hydrochloric acid production, it has some in there for you. It's a combination of enzymes and some glandulars to support your digestion and your gut function with the hydrochloric acid added to it. This is not a vegetarian product. If you want hydrochloric acid that is vegetarian, there's Standard Process has one called betaine hydrochloride. Next is Hypep. This is a combination herbal that is made from deglycerized licorice, chamomile, and meadowsweet. Meadowsweet is actually known as an herbal antacid, but it doesn't alter the pH of your stomach. And this is really wonderful for very symptomatic people. I've had people instantly feel better taking this. So far, everything I've talked about is available on my website, drcori.com, drcori.com. Hit the shop button and then shop Standard Process supplements. Again, these supplements are not expensive. They're really affordable and they work wonderfully well. They're very clean and they're made out of food. There's nothing bad in them. The next one I want to mention is also from Standard Process. It is not available on the website. It's called Digest Forte. Digest Forte is a combination of bitters. Bitters have been part of our ancestral diet and have largely disappeared from it. Bitter tonics are really important for digestion. They help stimulate the production of enzymes. And they also have a positive effect on blood sugar and on sugar cravings. So Digest Forte is a combination of gentian, tangerine, feverfew, ginger, and wormwood. If you can tolerate it, you should suck on a tablet for best results. But you're not used to bitters, it's a little difficult to do. You might want to start slowly, just hold it, in your mouth for a minute or two and then swallow it and then slowly work your way up to being able to do it for a while. Okay, next is Rest Easy. Rest Easy is a liquid soil-based probiotic, which also has turmeric added in it. So it has the anti-inflammatory property of turmeric in there. And I love this as a probiotic. I take this every night before bed. And it really improves digestive function, especially if your gut flora is imbalanced. That is available on my website. And lastly, I do recommend that you try apple cider vinegar. Couldn't think of the word apple. Oh boy. Okay. I got to watch my memory video again to see if there's anything I'm missing. Apple cider vinegar, what we call with the mother. Okay, so I use the Bragg brand, BRAGG brand, apple cider vinegar with the mother. So that's the original culture, and that is very helpful for many people, especially if you do have low stomach acid. And it does assist with digestion. You can try it. Just make sure you dilute it, because if you take it straight, it can literally erode your teeth enamel. And a tablespoon in a glass of water after a meal, or even before a meal, to aid digestion. And you can also try baking soda. Baking soda can help with temporary relief of symptoms if you need to. So it's a safer thing to do. Try to get aluminum-free baking soda. So that's all I have for now. I hope this was helpful. And please, if you did like this video, hit the like button, because it helps other people to find it. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, I would love if you would do that. If you know somebody that you think would benefit from watching this, please share it with them. And please reach out to me if you need any help. My email is on the description of the video, along with my website. And I really do try to answer every single comment and question that comes in. I think I actually do achieve that. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. And thank you so much for watching. I forgot to say earlier that I'm Dr. Cori Stern, and this is my channel, Take Control of Your Health. And we'll see you again next time.